I guess I had fun last night.
Alright, let's do a video. Hello, my name's Dizzy, and I have one question to ask you. Have you played this? Have you? Catherine is a unique game about love, sex, sheep, and booze. Yeah, baby. So, in the spirit of the game, I shall be drinking this week. Bomb the fuck up, baby.
So, who are you betting on? Come on, pick one.
You kidding? Women's wrestling? What'd I know?
Sounds to me like she finally wants you to tie the knot.
The game is a Japanese puzzle game, steeped in the culture of Japan. You play as Vincent, and after getting drunk one night, he finds himself in a nightmarish hellscape, full of sheep and boxes. Every night he is transported into this nightmarish world, where all he can do is climb or die. It's thrilling, it's stressful, and tiring. But is it an amazing plunge into Japanese and sheep? Let's find out. Catherine has two types of gameplay, the nightmare sections and the real life sections. The nightmare sections are this game's bread and butter. The main bulk of the game takes place in these sections, and this is when the game is at its most unique. The name of the game is climbing. Every night, Vincent has to climb through multiple levels until you reach the boss at the end of the night. But how does that work? The tower you have to climb is made up of boxes that Vincent can push and pull. Vincent can only climb one box at a time, so you have to be smart about which boxes you move around before climbing. There, of course, is a catch. And the catch is...
I know this is sudden, but here's some trivia for you, as you seem to have finished your class. The name Rum and Cola is actually a nickname. Do you know? It's called the Cuba Libre. The rum called for in this is a cocktail which mixed the national specialties of Cuba Libre, means it tastes differently when you know the history. And that was the cocktail trivia for...
Did you all see that? I don't know what that was. Just I don't know. Move on with the review, then. That was weird. Anyway, that catches the floor beneath you is slowly falling away. So if you're not fast enough and do not climb high enough, you will fall to your death. This shakes things up immediately, because you have to quickly look around and assess the formation of the boxes, and it makes you make your moves faster than you may be comfortable with. I myself am not great at puzzle games, so the speed of the game makes me stress out, but the stress out is in a great way. It's thrilling to see the puzzle that looks confusing and impossible, just to solve it eventually. It's like the rush you get in an action game, or the rush you get when defeating a hard boss in Dark Souls. But I will openly admit, when it comes to puzzle games, I am not the best. The game slowly introduces different types of boxes into the towers. Boxes that crumble after multiple uses. Trap boxes that the first time they are stepped on release spikes. Boxes with minds of their own, and bomb boxes. Plus a few more. This makes you think not only on how you can move the boxes properly, but also, is it even safe to step on each box? And which box can be used in each situation? These are far from the only hazards the towers face. You aren't the only person trying to climb to safety. Other people in the form of sheep will get in your way, and you have to knock them down the tower, and to their unfortunate deaths. At the end of each night, you will encounter a monster who will chase you up a wall. This is a boss fight, to say the least, and they can be stressful. Each boss is an embodiment of Vincent's internal fears and struggles, and they are a bitch, as they can chase you up each tower and throw their own special abilities at you, which include, and are not limited to, switching your control scheme, knocking you off a tower you are clinging to, throwing traps at you. In between each of the levels within a nightmare, you'll encounter a rest stage, which is just a small platform with sheep on it. It lets you save, and it'll ask you a question at the end of this, which will affect your karma. Now, these sheep are people, and they see you as a sheep. So what that means is the people you interact with in the real world are also these sheep, and how you talk to them in this world and in the real world will affect their fates. Now I'll get into more of that later. This perfectly segues us into the other section of the game, the real world section. And the real world...
I know this is sudden, but here's some trivia for you, as you seem to have finished your class. Did you know the United States outlawed alcohol between 1920 and 1933? It is said that this very prohibition paved a way for the cocktail culture to bloom. Alcohol made in secret tended to taste terrible, so people began mixing it with anything and everything to make it more enjoyable. These are the roots of the modern cocktail. The more you stamp on a weed, the more it thrives. My, that's deep. And that was the cocktail trivia for tonight.
Seriously, what the fuck is going on here? What is this? When Vincent isn't in the nightmare section, he is drinking at a bar known as a stray sheep. Here he can chill with friends or even hang out with other customers. This section affects the game in significant ways. First, Vincent will be texted from one of the two girls that are after him, which I will explain in the story section. The game lets you build a response line by line that in turn will affect your relationship and karma. Yes, the karma system. On the platforms on the nightmare stages, which I did mention, you will be asked a question, which will in turn affect your karma. Who you choose to be with, as well as your karma, will affect Vincent's internal monologue in each cutscene and which of the final endings you get, which there are 9 possible endings. Back to the bar. Something that you will notice very fast is that the bar patrons that come in and out throughout the night are the sheep you meet in the nightmares, and what you say to them or don't say to them in both worlds will affect their chances of surviving till the end of the game. If a fellow sheep dies, they will be announced in the news in the bar. The thing to remember is while you're at your bar, you need to drink, because the more you drink, the faster you move in the nightmare world, and the speed is the name of the game. Also, finally, there's a minigame at the bar that can be played 3 times a night. It's a smaller version of the nightmare levels, and makes them easier to play. The story is...
I know this is sudden, but have you ever heard of the term, during the aging process, some whiskey will be lost to a... I hear that if they seal it so it doesn't evaporate, what a fancy way of saying, and that was the trivia.
Seriously? Like, this is getting really old, like, fast. I mean, the trivia is interesting and all that, but... The game of Catherine has you choose between 2 girls of the same name. Catherine, who will be referred to as Glasses, and Catherine, who will be referred to as Blondie. Vincent is in a relationship with Glasses for the past 5 years. They are similar in age, and she wants to make things more serious. But Vincent is terrified of commitment, and one night alone at the bar, Blondie strolls up, draped in lingerie, barely 20. Blondie is flirty with Vincent, and though he doesn't remember it, he has an affair with her. The game introduces a curse where men who are unfaithful have to live through 8 deadly nights of nightmares, and if you survive the nights, you win your freedom. Your choices decide which girl you choose, and which ending you get. Honestly, as an Atlas game, it has a really good story, but be warned, there are many times when the extreme Japaneseness of the game may throw people for a loop. Throughout the game, Vincent tries to figure out his life and learn the secrets of the nightmares and if he is going insane. Being an Atlas game, the geniuses behind Persona and Shin Megami Tensei, it's hard to really talk about the story without treading on spoiler territory. So let's now move on to the technical part of the story. Troy Baker voices Vincent, and is phenomenal as a nervous cheater.
I thought it was weird for her to rush things. Man, this shit keeps getting worse.
But he isn't the only one. Every character is not only well acted, but has some sort of depth to them. But one of the problems with the game is in the aspect of translation. Now be warned, this may only really affect those who have subtitles on, but it's still an issue. In Japan, both Catherine's names have the exact same spelling. So it's meant to spell confusion in certain conversations on which Catherine is being talked about. But because of the spelling of the North American version, that confusion is lost. I know. It's a nitpick and I shouldn't be complaining, but it's something that I think would add to certain parts of the game. I know I've been rather easy on this game. I'm aware of it. It was the first time I had to say that. Nice. But the important part is the fun.
I know this is sudden, but here's some trivia for you, as you seem to have finished your class. One style of cocktail that requires the most experience and technique to create is the pousse café. Normally, cocktails are stirred thoroughly. The bartender creates a beautiful rainbow inside the glass by carefully layering differently colored liqueurs according to their densities. But what's the best way to drink this? Mixing it will ruin the effect. And if you don't mix it, it stays separated. Perhaps the agony, and that was the cocktail trivia for tonight.
Do you like frustration? If so, then yes, this game is a blast. The puzzles are so validating and so rewarding when beaten. But unless you're great at puzzle games, this will get frustrating. The story is fulfilling and makes you want to play the game over and over again, just to see the other endings. Also, if you get the highest reward in the tower, you can skip the tower next time you play through it. This is one of my favorite games of the generation. It's simple yet fun yet complicated. People are asking for a sequel, but I don't think that would be good. I think this game should stand alone on its own. Maybe get a remaster or something. It's well written, it's well designed, it's fun, it's stressful, and it's satisfying. It makes me want to play it over and over and over and over. So yeah, this game. Catherine, you should play it. My name's Dizzy. And remember,
I know this is sudden, but here's some trivia. Do you know what malt means? It can often... Malt refers to malted, yet if it is labeled as malt whiskey, single malt means that the malts used come... Malt whiskey can vary wildly, and that was the trivia.
So, there we were, burning down churches, eating newborn babies, and my father, Lucifer, he was like,